Today, we're diving into a really powerful story. It's all about what it takes to keep going when it feels like all hope is lost. We're calling this one the path of persistence.
So, let me just start by asking you something. Have you ever had that feeling where the world just feels like it's closing in on you? You know, that feeling where it seems like no matter how hard you try, every single door just slams shut? If that feeling sounds even a little bit familiar, then this story is really going to resonate. We're going to follow the journey of a young woman named Fatima, and her experience offers such a powerful lesson on how to navigate those exact moments. To really appreciate her story, you first have to understand her struggle. So let's get into our first section here, when life hits hard. Okay, so Fatima's life, it really started out with so much promise. I mean, she was a brilliant student, came from a really supportive, loving family, and she had this huge dream of becoming a doctor. Right after graduation, you can just imagine, her future looked absolutely limitless. But then everything changed, and it happened so fast. First, her father passed away, just suddenly, which threw her whole family into a tough financial spot. Then the rejection letters started rolling in from medical schools, just one after another, and it completely crushed her confidence. All while her friends were moving on, starting their careers, and she just felt totally stuck, isolated, hopeless, and just lost. And all of this whole sequence of events, it brought Fatima to her absolute lowest point. And that leads us right to the emotional heart of this story, a moment of faith. Just try to picture it. After everything she'd been through, one night she's sitting all by herself, just crushed by the full weight of it all. She felt completely and utterly broken. And in that moment of just pure desperation, she asked a question that I think so many of us have felt deep in our hearts, even if we've never said it out loud. Why Allah? Why is everything going wrong? It was just this raw, honest plea for some kind of answer. And right then, she remembered something her mother used to tell her all the time, this incredibly powerful verse. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. It's amazing, isn't it? How just one line, one single thought can begin to shift your entire perspective, turning that despair into just a little glimmer of possibility. And here's the really crucial part. What she did next, her prayer, it wasn't just routine. This was a prayer that came from the very bottom of her heart. She was asking not for some easy fix, but just for guidance, for strength, and for maybe, just maybe, one door to be opened for her. So, how did that internal shift, that moment of faith, turn into actual action? Well, that brings us to our next section, the path of persistence. This right here is the power of starting small. She didn't try to fix everything all at once. Instead, she took 3 clear, manageable steps that helped her get back some control. First, she signed up for an online course to sharpen her skills. Second, she started volunteering at a local clinic. And third, she deepened her connection to her faith with extra prayers every single night. And you know what? It worked. It didn't happen overnight, but slowly, gradually, these consistent little actions started to build momentum. While she was volunteering, she met a mentor who saw how dedicated she was and encouraged her to apply to medical programs just one more time. And this time, she got in. Her persistence had finally paid off. So, what did Fatima actually learn from this whole experience? Let's kind of break down the wisdom she gained in this next section. A lesson in hardship. The biggest change for her was all in her mindset. It was about reframing the struggle. Before, she saw all this hardship as a kind of punishment, like it was a sign she should just give up. But now she understood it as a test, something that wasn't there to break her, but to actually build her up, to make her more resilient and deepen her faith. And this is her message in her own words for anyone out there facing their own challenges. No matter how heavy your heart feels, Allah is always with you. Don't give up. I mean, that really is the core lesson from her incredible journey. So let's bring this message home. How can we take what Fatima learned and apply it to our own lives? This last section is a message for you. So if you're struggling right now, I want you to remember these things from Fatima's story. That hardship you're feeling, it's not meaningless. Your sincere prayers, they are being heard. And just like that verse promised her, your ease is on its way. The takeaway is so simple, but it's also so profound. No matter what happens,
Just keep going forward. Keep praying for that guidance and keep trusting that there is a plan for you, even when you can't see it. And that leaves us with one last thought. Fatima's entire comeback, her whole journey, it all started with just one single small action. So the real question I have for you is, what small step will you take today?